Solid Signal podcast for the week of January 23rd, 2017, and the subject for this week is the Super Bowl. Now, I know you're asking, why am I talking about the Super Bowl when it's still about 2 weeks away? It's because I want you to have the time that you need to get everything going. The Super Bowl this year, just as previous years, is going to be broadcast on free live television. And not only that, you'll get the best possible experience getting it that way. Watching on cable, watching on satellite, that's good, and you may have the ability to record it and time shift it and stuff, but if you want the absolute best picture quality, you're going to want to go to an antenna. Simple as that. Now, there's a tendency from a lot of people to want to stream the Super Bowl this year, and let me tell you something, that hasn't worked really well in past years. I wish it had, believe me, but the fact is that the internet is just not ready to absorb millions and millions of people trying to stream this event at the same time. I tried it last year and it was jerky, it didn't work very well, and hey, if you want to try it, go for it, but I would recommend that you get an antenna, get it set up, and be watching the Super Bowl live as it happens. There's a bit of an advantage, by the way, watching the Super Bowl from an antenna. Usually you will get the plays about 6 to 8 seconds earlier than people on cable or satellite, and about 12 seconds before people who are streaming it see it. Now that may not seem like a whole lot, but if you're really watching this live and you want to be the first person to know when your team wins, the Patriots, because you're that kind of sports fan, well, you need to be watching on an antenna. Simple as that. And really, folks, there's only one place to get the antenna that you need, and that's at solidsignal.com. Go to solidsignal.com, browse for antennas, click on the link at the top, and they'll give you a free antenna recommendation. I know that I kind of sound like a shill here, but the fact is that I've been doing this sort of thing for a long time, and I have never seen any source, whether it's online or offline, with the sheer number of antennas available and the kind of deep expertise that the folks at Solid Signal have. And so they should be the place that you're looking for an antenna. Now, you're listening to the Solid Signal podcast. I probably don't need to sell you too much on Solid Signal. You're probably already a fan. Anyway, go get yourself an antenna. Enjoy the Super Bowl. That's the simple and obvious message that I'm trying to send out. By the way, the Super Bowl this year is broadcast on Fox, and let me tell you, just because I have the opportunity to do so, that I am not a huge fan of the sportscasters on Fox. I know that they work very hard and they really try to do a great job, and well, it's a matter of personal preference. I do not care for them. I wish them all the best, but don't have a whole lot of positives to say about the folks in the booth. But I mentioned that it's on Fox because you really need to be checking to make sure that your local Fox station comes in nice and clear. When you see sporting events on different channels, you know, every channel could be on a different transmitter, it could be in a different station, some could be on VHF, some could be on UHF, and how are you going to know? Well, of course, the best way to do it is to ask your friends at Solid Signal or to go to a self-service website. If you happen to be in one of the top 40 markets in the United States, and you probably know who you are, your bigger cities, go to solidsignal.com, scroll all the way down, and click on a little tiny link that says Cut the Cord by City. Now, this is an ongoing project we're doing at solidsignal.com that will eventually encompass all 200 plus markets in the United States, but we started with the biggest, and we're going to the smallest, and this will give you a real idea of what real frequency, what real channel is being used to broadcast your favorite station. Why is this important? Because that is the channel that you're going to need to tune to get the Super Bowl. Look at the cord cutting pages that you'll find for your city. Look for the column called RF, and you will see what the actual broadcast channel is. It could be different from the channel number that shows up on your TV, and in fact it usually is. There's a whole reason for that, and I'll get into that in another podcast. But if that number is lower than 13, you're going to need a VHF antenna. They are larger and in some cases more expensive, and more likely that you would need an outdoor antenna to deal with things. So do know that going in, and make sure that you're getting the right antenna to get the channels that you want, especially during the Super Bowl, when the last thing that you want is any sort of signal interruption. That's about it for the Solid Signal podcast this week. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.